In this video, we're going to have an example, read a little story, and talk about the difference between population and sample, and we're going to once again review sampling methods, and then we'll talk about bias, possible bias. Alright, as we begin to talk about populations and samples, understand that a population is the group of people that you want to know something about. Of course, it doesn't have to be people, could be animals, or even objects. But still, you get the idea. Alright, it's the set of people or animals or objects or whatever that you want to know something about. We'll come back to that in a second. Now, let's talk about the sample. A sample is the part or subset of the population that you survey or measure. Let's say I'm suddenly curious about whether or not the faculty at my high school prefers cats or dogs. So I think, I wonder if the faculty, aka staff, at my school prefers cats or dogs. Okay, I don't have time to ask every single faculty member at my school if they prefer cats or dogs. So I decided to just ask the math teachers. I'm going to put a survey in their box and kind of hope that they fill it out. There are 15 math teachers. But I guess some of them were too busy to fill out my survey because I only got 10 responses. Only 10 people filled out my survey. Boom. Now the question is, what is the population and what is the sample? Well, again, remember that the population is the people that you want to know some information about. So let's start with that. In this problem, I wonder if the faculty at my school prefers cats or dogs. So the people I want to know something about are the faculty, the staff members at my school. All of them. So this is the population. The faculty at my school is the population. Alright, some students mistakenly think that I gave out these surveys. I gave the surveys to the 15 math teachers. Some students mistakenly think that, oh, okay, whoever gets the surveys, that's the population. Because, students know in some part of their brain that the population is the bigger group. Boom. And then the sample is a smaller part of that. Boom. So they have that concept in their head. There's a bigger group, that's the population, and a smaller group, that's the sample. And here I've given out 15 surveys and I got back 10. So it sounds like, okay, 15 is the big group and 10 is the smaller group. So 15 must be the population and 10 must be the sample. But that's not the way it works. The population is the people that you want to know about. It has nothing to do with how many people you gave a survey to and how many surveys you got back. That's irrelevant. I wanted to know what the faculty at my school thinks about cats and dogs. The whole faculty. That's who I'm trying to figure out about. So that makes them the population. Now the sample is the part or subset of the population that you survey or measure. Okay, so is it the 15 teachers who got a survey in their mailbox, or is it the 10 math teachers who filled out my survey? Well, it's the 10 teachers who actually filled out the survey. This is the sample. Okay, the sample is the group of people that you survey or measure. Now, the people who didn't fill out the survey did not get surveyed. Having a survey in your mailbox does not give me any information. So the surveys that are completed, that's the smaller set of information that I have. That's the sample. They have to fill out the survey to be part of the sample. All right, now let's look at the actual question on this paper. But with that pre-example, you should be able to do it, yeah? Let's see. Administrators at a large urban high school want to get the students' opinions on who should be allowed to wear camouflage clothing to school. So right there in that sentence, it tells you what the population is. Because remember, the population is who you want to know about. Administrators want to get the students' opinions. Students. All right, I haven't read the rest of the question yet. Did they say sophomores, freshmen, juniors, seniors? Who do they want to know about? They did not specify. They just say they want to get the students' opinions. So that means all students. You know, unless they specifically say otherwise. So that's the population. The students. Students, you know, I could be really specific and say the students at a large urban high school. But I think you get it. I'm not going to write that out. All right, it's the students. Now, so a common mistake is if I read on, you'll see where it comes from. In the next sentence, it says, the high school has 700 seniors. All right, so now we're specifically mentioning seniors, all of whom are enrolled in a first period homeroom. There are 24 senior homerooms, each with approximately 25 students. School administrators select 3 of these homerooms at random and then include all the students in the selected homerooms in the sample. So, because so many places in this problem mention seniors, all right, oh, they have 700 seniors. There are 24 senior homerooms. Okay, and these are the only rooms that were selected. So it seems like the whole problem is about seniors. So a lot of people thought that the population would be seniors at the high school. Okay, they thought instead of all the students, you know, it seemed like the whole problem was about seniors, so that must be the population. No, don't get fooled by that. You know, the reason why you think that is because otherwise there would be bias. Like if you really wanted, like your common sense makes you want to say seniors, because if you really wanted to know what all of the students think, why in the world would you only be asking seniors? So you kind of are thinking to yourselves that, okay, since they are only asking seniors, they must only want to know about seniors. So the seniors must be the population. But what you're really dealing with is a source of bias, which will come out later. So yeah, we want to know about the students, not just the seniors, all the students. And yeah, the fact that we're only asking seniors is a problem, and that's called bias, which comes at the end. Okay, now let's move on and talk about the sample. So there's 2 possibilities. They say, let's see, the high school has 700 seniors. So, is that the sample? I'll just underline that for a minute. 700 senior students, all of whom are enrolled in a first period homeroom. There are 24 senior homerooms. Maybe that's the sample. All right, 24 senior homerooms. I'm not sure. Let's keep reading. Each with approximately 25 students. School administrators select 3 of these homerooms at random and then include all of the students in the selected homerooms in their sample. So, remember, the sample is the part or subset of the population that you survey or measure. So it sounds like the administrators select 3 homerooms at random. and then that's who they survey. Okay, so they select 3 of these homerooms. So that's got to be the sample, because those are the only people who get surveyed. Only the people who get measured or surveyed are part of the sample. So the 700 seniors, no. Did they all get surveyed? No. So they're not the sample. 24 senior homerooms, is that the sample? No. Did all the 24 senior homerooms take the survey? No. School administrators selected 3 of the homerooms at random and then included those students in their sample. All right, so that's it. So the sample, in some way you have to mention the 3 senior homerooms that were chosen at random. So I could say the 3 senior homerooms that were selected. Now if you want to get fancy, you could say how many students that is. They mentioned that there are 25 students in each homeroom, and if we select 3 of them, so you could say something about there being 75 seniors. Alright, but that's not mandatory. Okay, next we're supposed to talk about the sampling method. Now in a previous video, I reviewed the 6 sampling methods. I'm going to go back and insert that video here. Let's get it turned out to be about 4 minutes long. So watch this review of sampling methods. If you've already seen it, skip ahead. Boop! These are the 6 sampling methods that we have learned about. I'm just going to go through them real quick in like 1 minute. So convenience is where you just pick one group that you have easy access to survey or measure or whatever. So if I just walk into a room and say, hey, let me survey you guys, that would be convenience. Now, voluntary response is also known as self-selected, and that's where the people that participate in your survey or the people that get measured in some way choose themselves to participate. So some common ways that will happen will be if there is a survey that's posted on a website, for example, or if you send out a survey in the mail, that's going to be automatically voluntary because people could just throw it away. Or if you just leave your survey on a table. And people can walk up and take your survey if they want to. Those are examples of voluntary response. Simple random is where, similar to convenience, you just have one group, but in simple random, you take the entire population as one big group, and then you use a computer or some other purely random system to pick your participants. Okay, so if you're choosing randomly from your entire population, that's going to be simple random. Now, stratified random is where you divide your population into groups, and then you choose some from each group. So that could be done either, imagine rooms, so I'm in a high school, so there are several classrooms in this high school. If I randomly pick 3 students from each class to participate in my survey, that would be stratified random. On the other hand, you could do it by types of people. So we have freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So if I pick 20 freshmen, 20 sophomores, 20 juniors, and 20 seniors randomly, but I pick 20 of each kind, then that would also be stratified random. So if you pick some from each group, that's stratified random. Now, cluster is where you randomly choose whole groups at a time. So back to my classroom example, if I randomly picked 5 classrooms to survey, but if you're in one of those 5 classrooms, then I automatically survey everyone in the classrooms that I choose. But I'm randomly choosing entire classrooms, so that would be cluster. And systematic is where you have some type of a system, like you're picking every fifth person off of a list, or you're picking every eighth person that walks in the door, or you're choosing every other person in the line. So these are the six methods that we've talked about. Now that we have reviewed the six sampling methods, let's talk about which one was used. Again, they selected 3 homerooms at random. So they selected 3 entire classrooms of students at random. So that is the cluster method. A lot of students confuse this with the stratified random. So stratified random, again, is where you, if we selected, let's say, 10 students from each homeroom, that would be stratified random. So if you're picking some from each group, that's stratified random. If you're randomly picking entire groups at once, that's cluster. And that's what happened here. We randomly picked 3 entire groups, so that's cluster. Now, let's talk about possible bias. Yes, there's possible bias. I already mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the population as opposed to the sample. The population is the students at this school, all the students. But of course, it's a problem that they only spoke to seniors. All right, seniors, older students, for whatever reason, might feel differently than freshmen would. It's very possible. You just don't want to have one group of all one age when you really want to know about a variety of ages. So there you go. They only asked seniors when the population that they want to know about was all of the students, not just seniors. That was silly.